So people have been asking me, can you work and pay your school fees and also pay your rent and everything? Honestly, I feel like it's going to be very difficult. There's some people that are doing it, but I'm going to say it's going to be extremely difficult. I'm not even going to lie to you. Even if you're a domestic student, I'll say, yeah, it might be possible, but international fees are like 3 times higher than domestic student fees. And you also, if you're paying for your rent can be at least $500 if you're sharing with people. Then you also have to think of your feeding, and you're not going to be working full time, so you're going to be working part time. Put that into the time you have to put at the hospital and all the clinicals, all the practicing, there's no pay. You're the one paying for this education, for this experience. So put that in mind. I feel like if you're schooling, you can definitely school and work for you to be able to manage your rent and your feeding and your living expenses. But add tuition on top. I'm not going to advise anybody to do that. That's just my 2 cents. Nursing is a very heavy course. There's not just the reading and the classes, but also the clinicals, going into the hospital and doing your practicum. I would be 100% honest with you. My last semester was the first time that I ever did a full course credits, like 15 credits. I actually did 3 courses, but full course load would be 5 courses or 15 credits because each course is 3 credits. But this last fall, I did 6 credits. So it's like 3 classes, but 2 of them are 6 credits. So it's still 15 credits. And I would say it was a lot doing that and also working. I was still working full time, the same I would usually work while schooling. So I'll come and say, yes, it's possible to work while schooling. The main thing is time management. You might have to spend less time doing some other things that you used to do, maybe like spending time with people or some of your hobbies if you're working and schooling. I didn't even really post on YouTube that much because it was just a lot for me personally, but it is very possible. I was working around 18 to 25 hours every week, which is kind of, for international students, I think it's like 20 hours. I know they increased it at a point, but I think it's back to 20 hours if I'm not mistaken. So that's still very possible for you to do, but you just need to put into account that you're going to spend a lot of time in school taking classes. Another thing I want to say is I didn't really understand how the curriculum worked, because I know what I was used to is if there's a class that's 3 credits, then you only need to spend 3 credits, like maybe a 3 hour class for that, and maybe you're doing readings else like at some other time. But in nursing, a class can be 3 credits, or a course when it can be 3 credits, but you're spending way more time on that clinical or on that course. For a lot of the second year courses, I'll use that as an example. You can have a clinical that's 3 credits, but you end up spending 12 hours. You work like a 12-hour day as a regular nurse, and you also have the day before. I'm using the year of R. You have research, which can be from 2 to 3 hours depending, and everything would sum up to around 15 hours. You so the research, after you come back, you still have to do a lot of work, so sometimes that whole day is gone. So you can end up spending realistically 20 hours for a 3-hour course, and that's not the only one you're doing. You're also doing other things. So you have your classes, and some of the classes too will be like 3 credits, but then you spend 3 to 4 hours in the class, and then you have another lab that's like 3 to 4 hours. One of your classes that's signified as a 3 credits course in your course page or online would end up being like 8 to 9 hours of you being in school, not even talking about after, when you have to read and study for those exams. So that's what I'm telling you. A lot of time, a lot of dedication in time specifically. So, and it's not, because I know what I was thinking was, people said there's a lot of time, but I was thinking it's kind of like maybe some other courses where you spend the 3 hours, but then some people like to read for 10 hours. Some people read for 2 hours, but no, this time you actually have to put it, because if you don't go for your clinicals in the year of R, if you miss one time, that's all right. But if you miss more than 10% or more than 30% of the full time you were meant to spend, like if you don't go for 2 clinical days, then you can be pulled out and you can automatically fail that clinical, and then you have to take it again. So when you go into 3rd year, where it's not just the class and the clinicals are not separated, they can be together. So for example, a course that have the theory part and also the clinical part. So the clinicals from your 1st year is only 12 hours, maybe just 1 12-hour day. But then in your 3rd year, you can move up to 2 12-hour days. You still have research the day before, and you also have class on top. So all of it, one class that's 6 credits can end up coming up to like 28 hours of you spending in class and in clinicals. This does not count for the time you have to read and study for your exams. So you see how much time you invest into this, putting that in mind. Wow, because a lot of people are asking me, oh, can you school and can you work? Yes, I do that too. Number one, it depends on your course. Number two, it depends on you, how you can manage your time. Some people need less time to read, some people need more time to read. The best thing is like the work I'm doing now, it allows me this time, this free time where I can also study while at work, which is not like against the rules. If you have some downtime, then for sure. So that'll be the best thing I would think for anybody that's trying to do nursing. Try and go into a job that would give you downtime to also study too. Because you can maybe you can have a job that pays higher, but you might not even have any time to rest, or a job that doesn't pay too low, like not like minimum wage. Minimum wage is okay too, not too low. It's still at a good level where you can make enough money to sustain your livelihood and also have some time to study. Putting that into consideration is something I would have liked to know. Right now, I've kind of understood myself how much time I need to study, how many hours I can work in a week while also being in school, putting that, and also because that is not only school and work, I also want to rest too. Sometimes I also want to just relax, putting that all in. And it gets easier after, I think, second and third year, kind of a lot. First year, first and second year, a lot. Third year is still a lot, but not as much. Then it kind of gets better. And also, I was talking to somebody else. I'm like, is it less? Are we getting used to how things are and we have been in it for so long that we can kind of organize ourselves? Or is it just that the course concept is becoming less than before? Because now you already know the things, right? It's just more practice and application. So I think it's actually both. There's not really a lot of those readings because you kind of have it. If you've done it in your first and second year, you kind of have it in your mind. And there's also that part where you know yourself at this point. You know a lot of these concepts. It's not new. In your first year, everything is so new. You're like stressed out, trying to figure yourself out. Never been in university before, just figuring everything out. So it's after when you go further, it's like back again, almost done. You know the drill, getting into the work space, the workplace and all that. That's something I wish I knew. Yeah, I got 8 hours of sleep. Some days I'm not able to. When I can, I can. When I can't, I'll just get what I have to do done. If I have my research to do, I'll get it done. And then when I rest, I rest. I'm not very, I know some people have that exact, like I must do this and that. I'm just going to very flexible with my things, what works for me at certain times. If I have something to get done, I'll get it done. If I don't have anything to get done, I'm going to rest. That's me. You can decide how you prefer your things. If you want a very strict schedule or a kind of flexible schedule. But that's just me. Also, living in the hostel, I know for me, I'm not living in the hostel. I live with my family, and there's a lot of people I know, they're living with their family. There's not really a lot of people I know living in the hostel as nurses. You can do it. It doesn't really matter. It's just that if you're coming from a different country, the food they're going to be giving you in the hostel is going to be very like the food here, so you might not be used to it. There's a lot of like flour and things, which is not bad, but if you have lived most of your life not eating that food, then it's going to be hard to get used to eating that every single day. So that's another thing to put in mind. And also with nursing, like at this point, one thing I see to myself is that sometimes you're not really for grades. For me, I'm not really. Let's be honest. I'm not really pushing for like the highest of high grades. I'm schooling and I'm working and I'm doing other things too. So as long as there's like a cap for me that I want to get this certain score, if I get anything above that, then it's okay. I really want to get this degree, but I don't want it to be like just barely scraped by. But I'm also giving myself grace with all the other things I'm doing too. So whatever I have to do, whatever I have to study, however I have to do that, I will put my mind and my effort into it, but I'm not going to kill myself over it. Like if I see my grades, I'm like, thank God you did this, and happily go on my way, just each step by step at a time. Nursing has been very good. I feel like the education here is good. If I stayed in Brandon also, this would be my last semester, but this is not going to be my last semester. But I prefer the nursing school here to the nursing school in Brandon, if I'm being 100% honest. So just looking into all that, I'm like grateful for where I am and that I'm moving forward. Moving forward is better than being stagnant or even going back. Everybody has their time. Life is not, we're not racing with anybody. There's some people right now in my that were doing the clinicals together. They might be like a year younger, a year, 2 years younger than me. And then there's also some people that are like more than twice my age. Like they even come to university, you know that this life is not, everybody's not the same. We're not going to be at the same place at the same time every time. Maybe in university, because in secondary school, from primary school, secondary school, all the people that are your age mates, you kind of go together. But then when you get into university and get into like real life, also after that, working, everybody goes in their different ways because life just, a lot of things you can't say, oh, I will get here by this time and it's going to happen. Life will just give you its own wahala. But anyway, it's still grateful. My biggest takes from this nursing would be learning time management. That's very something I think I've learned at this point. I didn't even understand myself for the first time, but now I kind of get the gist and the hang of everything. So that time management and also taking things easy and taking things slow. Some people they did the 5 courses, 5 courses, 15 credits at first. It's very stressful for some people. Some people can do it. You don't have to also do those 5 credits. You can move some of them to the summertime and do it if it's going to be a lot, because it is a lot. But at the end, just look at the end, no matter how long it takes you to get to that goal of getting the degree and also pushing forward to other things. If you have any questions about nursing specifically here in Canada, either in Brandon University or at the U of R, University of Regina, you can either comment and I can answer, or you can send an email to my email. It's on my profile. You can send it and then I would answer. If I have the answers, I will. If not, I might just have to direct you to a website or somewhere else. So yeah, thank you for watching this video and I hope it helped you. See you in my next video. Bye bye.